What's up, YouTube? This is Ultimate Shield 340 back again with a Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League video. So, in today's video, I'm going to kind of briefly go over like a re-review of the game now that it's been out and the final season has been announced with Deathstroke being here. And then I'll give you sort of my thoughts after being away from the game for a while and then kind of giving you my honest opinion about the game overall and the game state. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, I personally think that this game definitely it didn't deserve as much of the bad rep that it deserved. Personally, and let me start by saying for everybody, sort of jumps in the comments and is upset with me. I do not think that this game is perfect. I definitely think that there are definitely a lot of flaws to this game. And I'll talk about some of those in my review, but I definitely do not believe that this game deserved as much hate as it received. I remember when I first got this game, it was I remember seeing like shortly afterwards, and I was one of those people who bought the game for $100, and I stand by that and before, and I stand by that now. I do believe that I am getting my money's worth from this game. Even though I did pay $100 and it's only like $3 now. So one thing I will say is that the IGN review that I did see was actually very misleading because it talked about how the guy who reviewed it, I can't even remember the reviewer's name, he had said one of the things that he didn't like about the game was the fact that you had to kill the Justice League. And he was saying that, I hope that there is like a time skip mechanic or a thing where you effectively reverse killing the Justice League and all of that. And he said he didn't really like that. And then he sort of made that as a negative point against the game. And to me, it just seems silly because like the title of the game is called Kill the Justice League, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So what exactly did you think was going to happen in the game? Especially when, spoiler alert, it gave it in the title. Not only that, but there was a lot of other negative press about the game, saying that the game was woke. I didn't really see a whole lot of woke stuff. I did see a pride flag, which doesn't bother me because, I think the focus was more on the gameplay and telling this story and the gameplay mechanics rather than push some kind of narrative. So, kind of take that as you will. So I didn't personally have a problem. I didn't think that there was any woke elements of this game, although there is a case to be made about gender swapping Mr. Freeze into Mrs. Freeze and things like that. I mean, I think it was an unnecessary change, but because of the nature of this game, I think it was fine. So there's that. So a lot of the pros of this game, in my personal opinion, is that I do believe that the transversal is one of the best things of this game. Each character has a very different transversal, and it's really dependent on who you like. What do you think is best for you and your play style? The movement styles and things are so varied and versatile that it really is, it's going to be easy for you to find somebody who you really like, who you really click with. And, that's somebody that you can really kind of get into. The weapons and stuff really feel good. And one of the other biggest strengths of this game, I think that is not really talked about a whole lot, is the weapon design. Every time there are new weapons in the game, even the ones that I've seen, the weapon design is fantastic. The designs of the weapons, what they do, how they look, how they feel shooting them. They all feel fantastic in my personal opinion, just as good as any other looter shooter. And there's the counter system where, if you shoot a particular body part of that person or enemy, I should say, you actually will do a lot of damage to them in a big group. And you can actually get different procs and things to boost, they'll do special things depending on, if you're able to hit a critical counter or do a counter. I think that is a very wonderful gameplay mechanic that I think is actually really good. The characters are also very, very good. All the voice actors, are actually very well done in my opinion. I will say that as far as the story is concerned, of course, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. Take it or leave it as you will. If I'm sure many of you who are watching this video probably have heard about the story and probably are spoiled. I'm not going to spoil it here or anything like that, but personally, I didn't Batman is my very favorite superhero, and although I didn't like what happened, it wasn't so detrimental to me to make me like really stop playing the game. I mean, it's just a story element, and I was able to sort of, move on past that and things like that. And I understand that some people are not able to do that, and I'm not knocking you for that. If that's your favorite superhero, and or not even just Batman, but any of the Justice League heroes, if they are your favorite superhero for whatever reason, and you don't like the outcome of whatever happened in the Suicide Squad Justice League story, you're entitled to feel that way. And I, am supportive of whatever your thoughts are, because you as the gamer, it's up to you to decide if you are going to support a game or not, or if you like the story or not. You are entitled to have that opinion. Me personally, I didn't like it personally, but it wasn't so bad that I decided to rage quit the game or anything like that. And again, no shade to anybody. We as gamers, we are entitled to spend our time playing whatever game that we want to play for whatever reason, or quit it for whatever reason. So again, no shade. So let's talk about some of the cons. Some of the cons are the gameplay decisions that the developers made. I mean, one of the biggest things I would say is that the gameplay, although it is very fun to me, it is repetitive. And when I say repetitive, even though the stuff in the background you see is what I'm doing here, it is basically repetitive. Like, you'll be running and gunning and shooting and swinging and blowing stuff up and doing suicide strikes. That part is not what I'm talking about. I'm specifically talking about the boss battles. Anybody who has played this game knows that whenever you fight each of the Justice League members, they each have their own boss mechanics. And whenever you fight Brainiac, he effectively just repeats those same mechanics. And I didn't care that much for that. And I do believe that they could have done something a little bit more different, like definitely changed the variety of boss battles and the boss mechanics, especially with Brainiac. You could have really done a lot of different kinds of things with Brainiac, because he's so versatile as a villain. You didn't have to just basically reuse what you've already what the Justice League members have already done. Didn't have to reuse that, but for whatever reason, again, a questionable decision by the devs, they decided to do that throughout the entire game. Once you beat each of the once you beat each of the Justice League members in battle, then you know exactly what Brainiac is going to do, and exactly each mechanic that is going to entail for every single Brainiac fight, no matter what powers he is using and things like that. So I really think that was a bad idea. I mean, they definitely should have been a bit more creative as far as boss battle and boss design goes. So that's a missed opportunity. One of the other missed opportunities, I believe, is just how they describe how to progress in the game. Once you beat in-game, you are going to be given a whole bunch of prompts, which will tell you exactly how in-game works. It's very, 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 very confusing. And even when a new character, say like Joker, comes out, or in this case Deathstroke, he's the newest character who has come out, if you don't know how to unlock it, it's not very obvious or clear on how to actually do that, and the game does a very poor job of explaining that as well. And even still, some certain things I still had to look up to figure out, certain things. Like, for instance, once you do unlock Joker, how do you put him on the squad so he could be a usable character? That was not very clear to me until I looked up, a different YouTuber who actually found out what it was and who was nice enough to share that information. So shout out to that YouTuber. That person escapes my mind at the moment. But the point I'm trying to make is that you should not, your game, this is a similar con I said about Destiny 2, where the player experience, whenever you get to in-game or whatever, like anytime you play a game, you should not have to go to outside sources to figure out what the hell you need to do. There is no justifiable reason that I should have to go look up YouTube, or go ask around in the community, or look up community boards or whatever to figure out how the hell do I progress during in-game. The game should tell you those things instead of giving you this very confusing explanation of whatever it is that you are supposed to do. Not to mention that, as far as confusing things are also concerned, the game also does not do a very good job of explaining what is what and how to do certain things. For instance, whenever although the game does actually have, it's a tutorial or whatever, the game does not explain what certain aspects are. So, for instance, when you shield harvest things, while you'll learn what shield harvest is and things like that, it doesn't tell you certain things about shield harvest, like what kind of damage bonus you get from it, and although you will increase your damage from it, like there's no way to tell if that's going to be a significant, like if you increase your shield harvest damage, which you can do by augmenting your weapons and equipment. There's no way to know exactly, like, is there a better way to raise my DPS by using shield harvesting, increasing that, or by increasing the raw DPS of my weapon? Like, the tooltip doesn't really tell you that, and you really kind of have to like know what you're doing. And again, it's one of those things you have to really like look through the community to figure out what's going on. So those are just a few of my thoughts. Overall, I still do believe that this game is actually very good, in my personal opinion. Is it the best looter shooter there ever was? No, absolutely not. But I definitely do not believe that it deserved as much bad things said about it as I thought. So those are my thoughts. Let me know if you're playing Suicide Squad Just Kill the Justice League. I'm just grinding some things out. Like, share, subscribe, and all those things. I'll let the rest of that play out. See you in the next video. Peace.